Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I think I started good before it actually went live. Good morning, everyone, Women of Light, and all the other platforms that you might be watching this on. I'm here. This is Wednesday Wisdom, so we're midweek, sort of. And I'm here with the gorgeous Helen, who we've talked before about this, but we've got so many more beautiful women on here that and the topic is such an amazing topic that I wanted Helen on again so that we could just chat about it, because it's such a taboo topic, so much so that Facebook won't let us actually put the word in, and they will, be the regulation police, as if they've got the right to tell us what we can talk about. And so we actually had to put the title in. So hopefully you can understand that we're talking about sex. Am I allowed to actually say it?
You can say sex, yeah.
Yeah, right. So thank you, Helen, for coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure. This is very exciting, Elizabeth. We always have such great conversations.
We do.
Yeah, very much on the same page, which is very exciting. Yeah.
And so Helen and I actually physically met on my Queensland road trip. So I think we actually met digitally through your interview. I don't know how we got you to have an interview.
I think because I joined Women of Light and you noticed me and asked, because I put a couple of posts up that tweaked your interest, as my posts tend to. Yeah. I'm just going to close my blind because I'm going to get light in my eyes.
Yeah, the beautiful sun coming through.
Yeah, there we go. How's that? That's much better.
Yeah, so Helen and I started talking through that. We've connected through, Helen's come to a couple of my meetups, and we've been online and seen each other. And Helen was the very first person that I actually got to meet on my way up on the road trip. So I got to see that gorgeous office that she's in and the beautiful house and where she's living. So she's living in this magnificent place. Can you just quickly share where you live, like what you can see from your back veranda?
Yeah, I'm on the southern Gold Coast and I'm on a ridge, but I'm only 2 kilometres from the sea. But from my back veranda, I can see a national park, which is part of the original Gondwana rainforest, and it's primordial. It's World Heritage listed. It's just amazing. So the view is stunning.
And the energy is amazing. That's what I noticed. I really noticed the energy of that land, that primal sort of, that tribal. You could just feel it, like the ancientness of the wisdom of that ancient place. It was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah. And I manifested this house through my sexual growth, through my healing and my empowerment, and understanding that my primary way of relating to the world, not just sexually, but primary way of relating to the world is through energy. So I call myself an energetic, not that I'm, a fast marathon runner or anything like that. It's that my energy is the primary way that I relate to the world. And I think this is where we really, because Elizabeth, you have that the same,
yeah.
And I live in Eleonora, which is spelt the same way as your surname.
Oh wow, which is unusual, because this is such an unusual way for Eleanor.
No, it's L-R with an A, ELANORA.
Oh yeah. That's the way it's normal. Yeah,
that's right. But when this house came up and I could see the beautiful energy of this house, and I already knew about this ridge and that view, it was just like, and this house actually came up on the date that I was ready to buy a house. So it all just fell so beautifully into place, and now I feel like I'm the guardian of the energy of this house.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. And I actually, just as a side note, I know we could just talk forever, right? And we'll just let everybody listen to our conversation. That's basically why we're on live. But that was now that I think about it, that was the very start of a whole primitive, like tribal connection for me all the way through
your trip.
Through my trip, yeah.
Yes.
Which ended with a massive healing for me and the land that I'm on here in Sydney.
Yes.
And I've got to get in contact with the local tribe to see about doing a smoke in here, because not tribe. It's
I
a
loved
mob,
it when I saw that. Yeah.
So I had never actually connected our first contact with that process. So that's so beautiful. So it's such a taboo subject. Even people that feel like they're out there and open still can have moments of concern about talking about sex and being erotic. And like I actually just did an email about sending people, if anyone wants my I'll send it to you if you want. If anyone wants my Spotify playlist, I've got a Spotify playlist called Being Me, and it's just energy, like it's just music that I can really move my body and be sensual, because I am energetic like you. Like this like everything to me has got a feel to it, you know. And you and myself and your beautiful husband had amazing conversation, totally open conversation about sex. And I just loved it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the start of my tour. Like, I'm just so excited.
That's right. And that's when my work is so beautiful. When I work with younger people, I'm in my 60s now, but when I work with younger people, they say, you're like my mum, except I can talk to you about anything. And that's part of, being a sexuality coach. Whatever age group I'm working with, I'm opening the conversation, and if I go into trigger, then I have ways of dealing with that now. And I just think that's a growth area for me. But I really, I'm here in this space to really help people with deep healing. I was speaking with Nicolette, and she said around the sacral area, when she's working in that area, it's the trickiest part of the healing. So, I'm very aware of that. I'm really aware that the sexual healing is a really big piece of the puzzle. And it was a huge piece for me. You're aware, Elizabeth, that I was diagnosed with breast cancer and endometrial cancer. And I was left with a whole raft of issues, including connecting deeply in my relationship. And that is really what led me down the path to where I am now. And, I can't say I'm fully done. I'm deep in doo-doo at the moment, working on some of my own stuff that's coming up.
Oh, man, aren't we always constantly growing and expanding? And that's what being a woman of light is all about, Helen.
Evolving. But I'm here and I'm healthy and I'm well, and, I'm looking at living a long and a healthy life. I've changed a lot of things in my life and around my sexuality, totally.
Yeah. And it's really, really, like, because you just said about the sacral is so true, especially for women. And what, from my point of view, as you said that, I thought, and the base chakra, because as soon as there's issues in the sacral, the base chakra pulls up, like, like we forget to be on the planet and be grounded, because there's trauma in the sacral. And so the base chakra really needs, that primal connection to the earth, so that we can do the work here and not be off in the planets or, off in the ethers sort of thing. So, it's so important, right? And so much when you were just talking, I brought my kids up. It's so crazy, because women are so powerful. Women are really powerful.
That's why they try and keep us under control.
Yeah, that's right. And I have always been an equalist. I've never been someone that was a feminist. I've always been equal rights for men and women. And, the father of my kids, he grew up with really feminist single mum and two older sisters. And he got like smashed, like from these powerful women that like, these are my rights and everything, right? And so many men these days have been brought up to be, with single mums that don't understand where their role is and their power is themselves as warriors, And so we've got men on this side that are like, where the F, are we supposed to be? And women on this side that are trying to do everything and are like just over the top and trying to live in a man's world and not actually being able to ground themselves in that power and strength of being like the feminine and the sexual energy, right?
The grounding piece is so important. And so I work with blueprints, and my blueprint is energetic and sensual. And the sensual part of my blueprint means that I love colors and I love textures and I love all that sort of thing. But the energetic, I'm healing in the sacral area at the moment. I'm working with someone who's doing deep healing processes in that place. And so my choice today is to wear orange and blue because that's feeding the energy, and that's part of my nurturing and my caring of myself. And so being fully in my sensual and fully in my energetic at the same time, I express that in my clothing, in the way that I am throughout the day. It just feeds me. It just makes me.
We should do a talk with Lucia Peters. She does a wardrobe. She's a stylist.
Yes.
And she's always on to me about wearing colour because I tend to gravitate to darker colours myself.
Yes.
I'm getting better.
But I think you've got a lot of sensual in you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I'm very sensual. Like the way I dance, I've got a feel. I mean, I was a massage therapist for 20 odd years, right?
So hands on.
Tactile, absolutely.
That's right. And that's what regulates my nervous system is massages, that type of touch. I can't go into a sexual encounter when my nervous system's all activated, but you give me a massage and everything just calms down. Yeah. That's a really big sign of essential. And you love baths and you love, I saw you put some essential oil on just before that's part of being essential. And sensuals generally, as a rule, have these beautiful curvy bodies. That's right. And this is not a gender thing. A lot of men can be sensual.
I've seen.
And we as women can get very judgmental because they're not being sexual. Their entry again is through massage and through touch and smells and all those sort of things.
Oh my gosh. Having like making love to a man that has a sensual nature, man, it's intense, isn't it? It's really good. So in saying that, like as we're talking, what about the women that I'm just thinking of someone at the moment. What about the women that their men are not educated or understand what their needs are? Like how do you deal with, like if you were working with just one person and marriages that have been 20 years and they don't want to, like they want to stay together. How do you deal with that sort of stuff?
So if I'm working with just one person, I help them to dive deeply into their own blueprint and really own their own sexuality first. That to me is the first step for them to really know who they are, to really be able to ask clearly for what they want. But part of that is knowing really what you actually do want. And learning how to make those requests. And then another part of that is for them to understand what their partner's blueprint is. If the partner will do the blueprint quiz, that's a help. But if they won't, we just put together pieces of information for them to help them understand what their partner's blueprint is, and try a few experiments, try approaching their partner in this particular way and see how the partner responds.
Yeah.
And, people come back to their session like, whoa, that was amazing. I just tried 1, 2, 3, and my partner just said, my partner just suddenly became receptive.
Yeah.
And I like to look at the dynamics of taking and allowing and giving and receiving, because we can have that all very screwed up. So I was the type of person that I am, I was giving, and not receiving. I was skewed on one end.
Yeah, that was
giver.
me at one stage.
Yeah. But not good at receiving, not good at taking, what was offered to me as a gift. And taking and allowing, I just wasn't working in that dynamic at all. I was brought up that it was wrong to take.
Yeah. Be the good girl, right? This is the limitations that a lot of women of light have had to deal with in their life, and they're still dealing with.
That's right. Yeah. And so you don't take the opportunities when they come up, because you have all this story going on in your head. But in the bedroom is the place to learn these dynamics. Are you able to feel safe in taking your pleasure? If my partner we will make an agreement that I will pleasure his body, but for my pleasure. So I'm taking.
Yeah.
And if he enjoys it, that's an extra bonus for him. Yeah. But do you see the difference in that?
Yeah. My last partner was amazing. It was amazing in this area, and allowed that totally. So would just allow me to do whatever I wanted, and
for your pleasure.
For my pleasure.
Yeah.
I've actually never had a partner that was so that there was this beautiful dance and dynamic, and
that's right.
It was lovely.
So
it was amazing.
He is skilled in allowing.
Yes.
He's skilled in allowing and feeling safe in you doing that. So he has a beautifully regulated nervous system that he's able to allow. So as you learn these dynamics and you bring them into your sexual play, can you see how it would reflect then in your life?
Yeah.
Well, it spills over into all aspects of your life.
Yeah. And so talk a little bit more about that, because that's something that I'm just wondering if it's I'm just going to bring it up anyway. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I was a little bit on the radical side. Full on hippie, didn't shave, blah 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 blah. Just wore no shoes, all that sort of stuff, right? And I remember reading a book from Alice Walker. It was actually an essay. So Alice Walker, for anyone that hasn't heard of Alice Walker, she's the lady that actually wrote the book, The Color Purple, that was made into the movie.
Yes.
Now she's a Black American novelist and an activist for women. She's an amazing author. One of my favorite books is her book, The Temple of My Familiar. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. However, she also wrote, in conjunction with somebody else, a book about I can't remember exactly. It's an essay, but I think it was something like the sexual binding of female circumcision or female mutilation and the sexual binding of women. And it was really intense read, right? So, it's not something for the lighthearted, but it was about, how circumcision for women, that's still going on today, right? In some countries, horrible, horrific stuff. Where it stemmed from was that men way back in like the times of believing in mythical things believed that the clitoris would grow razor sharp teeth and engulf the men. So back then they were aware of the power of the woman.
Yeah, definitely.
And so they were making it into like, you know, and so therefore it was take their power.
Yeah.
And women have a very, when you're a woman that knows herself, we have such a strong, sensual, sexual, immense power.
Yeah,
you know,
we're very potent.
We're very potent.
Yes.
And so I can see where they were coming from, because when we're in our essence, we are just a powerhouse. Oops.
Yeah.
My computer might die. 1 sec. And so it's really important. Can you just share about, let me just get my computer. I forgot to do that before we started. Can you just share a little bit about when you understand and this part of yourself, you know, your sexual nature, your innate being and your sensuality, how that comes through, like how that manifests in your life? Because women, we can still be disconnected from that and not understand. So I know I'd love for you to give your explanation.
How it manifests in my life. Yeah. I just, yeah, I was going to say that I just feel a greater ease in everything that I do. I just find, so this is one's huge, and this might sound really weird, but I was a really, really dorky person, and I was actually very alienating. I was very judgmental and critical all the time, and it was my defense, you know, as a high energetic, to keep people at a distance from me. And I have transformed my life in the last 5 years from being that type of person to being a person now that people actually like and want the company of.
Yeah.
That to me is a massive transformation. But the shadow side of the energetic is this hierarchical thinking, you know, this critical, and it's to keep your energy safe. It's to keep
boundaries up,
guarding your energy, but it's not in a healthy way.
Yeah.
So now I've learned
walls.
That's right, walls.
Yeah.
But now I've learned how to have boundaries and say yes when I want to, and no when I don't want to, and to feel into my body and know when my body's saying no. That's a no. That's an F no. You know. Or just a no, and to be able to,
it's okay to be an F no every so often, right?
Exactly, you know? So they've been huge, and that's impacted, you know, my life inside and outside of the bedroom, most definitely. And I know too now when my energy's not flowing.
Yeah.
Because I have felt massive energy flow. I felt just. I understand the difference now, and when I need to do something about it. So I'm in the middle of doing something about it right at the moment, because I don't know, the energy's pretty big out there at the moment. There's a lot going on. And I think too that we're constantly peeling away the layers, aren't we? I mean, the next layer of my healing,
and taking ownership of who we are and being that here on the planet this time around. That's what I really feel we're here for this time around, is to really explore and understand that energy of who we are, like that conscious creator, the form, like that energy, and being able to have that immense empowerment within us. With the love and like knowing how to dance the dance of being this beautiful, energetic, feminine woman, and the powerhouse at the same time, you know, like beautiful. It's a beautiful place to be. Yeah. You know, way back I had a partner, and it was one of my best relationships, because we were sort of in a Clayton's relationship, you know, the relationship you're having when you're not having a relationship, right?
Yeah.
And so it was one of the best because I knew he loved me. He loved my body. He loved the way I moved. He thought I was a lioness. He just loved every part of me. And I just felt like a goddess with him, like I just felt total connection. And I knew, like, when he was away, if he was going and doing other things, I really didn't care because I knew how much I felt strong within myself in the relationship that we had,
Yeah.
And so that is finding that real essence, that real connection, isn't it? Like that sensuality of discovering who you are and being able to strut your stuff,
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And be in a relationship where that is flowing it's a total gem.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so Helen, you've got a course that you run so that you can support women to find more of themselves. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you tell us?
Yeah, I like to work with people for 4 to 6 months because this is delicate stuff.
Yeah.
And I find people go through a bit of a ride with me and, they go into a period of contraction, and I like to work with them long enough till we come out the other side.
Blossom.
Yeah. So I like people to make the full commitment. I don't do one-off sessions, but I do offer a 90-minute enrollment call or a Passionate Possibilities. It's not an enrollment call because I actually choose whether I'll work with you or not. I'm not a trauma therapist, for example. So if someone came to me with really big traumas, I might direct them to somebody else. But my mission is to help everyone have great sex lives and to teach them amazing communication tools. My whole program is quite complex. You get a course, modules. I think you do something similar, don't you, Elizabeth?
Yeah.
There's an online course which has been put together by my coach, a woman called Jaya. It's the Er0tic Blueprint course. It retails for $997 but it's an amazing course. I've done that course 5 or 6 times myself now. It's a choose your own adventure course.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you can
books.
You can go through with a different set of things that you want to work on, and it will, and you get a new result every time. Just deepening. It's a very conscious course, extremely building of higher consciousness. So it's a wonderful, wonderful program. And then I tailor that. I help people create their adventure. Through that program, and I do individual sessions. My sessions tend to be about 90 minutes long, again because I'm dealing with sexuality. So you just have to do it in a very careful, regulated sort of way. I work with people online. I can work with people in person, but I can deliver my whole program very effectively online, or we can do a combination.
Oh, that's beautiful. And so people can get in contact with you. One, they can friend you on Facebook, right? But
that's right.
Can you put some details below?
Yes, and my Pleasure Waves website, pleasurewaves.com.au, there's actually access to the Er0tic Blueprint quiz through my webpage, which is a starting point. But that's where you can book a 90-minute session with me. If there's not a time there that suits you, just drop me a message through the contact form, and I will, or through Messenger, and I will create a time slot for you.
Awesome. And so you'll put that link in the comments below as well.
I will.
And we'll put it in YouTube and wherever else we put this.
That's great.
Well,
Yeah.
So such a pleasure to talk to you, Helen.
Yeah, always, Elizabeth.
And being the 30th of June, we're at the end of the financial year. So it's a pleasure to be at the, like to have you on the last of, like there's always cycles, right? So this is the end of the cycle and ready for a new cycle to begin. So it's so lovely to be able to freely, openly speak about sexuality, and like I'm sure that our listeners have got a story, right? Like, just even our moon cycle, our periods, like when you first got them, how you handled it, all that stuff can be really challenging.
I've worked with clients who we've transformed menstrual stuff, just in a couple of sessions.
Yeah. It's really amazing. Like I brought my kids up very different to the way I was brought up, and we talked about sex quite easily, and I had so many friends coming and asking me to talk to their kids, and I'm like, huh? Like, come on, you can do it, I just open up. So it's transforming the world. So thank you for being a custodian to the earth, and being one of the people that are here to make a difference and support women to shine their light.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Take care, hun, and everyone take care. If you're watching the replay, do #replay. We'll go in there and we'll watch and answer any questions or anything, and enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week. See ya.